Somewhere deep in the northern wilderness. The forest is still dark. Snow covers the ground. The air is sharp and cold. And then, a sound cuts through the silence. A single howl, long and low, rising, then falling. It can be heard up to 10 miles away. And it's not a cry of loneliness. It's a roll call. One by one, others answer. From the tree line, from the ridge above. Each voice distinct, each one accounted for. This is a pack, and every morning begins the same way. 6 wolves, a family. They've held this stretch of forest for 3 years, 50 square miles of mountain, river, and timber, and they know every inch of it. This is the breeding male, the father. And despite what you may have heard, he didn't fight his way to the top. He built a family, and that family became a pack. Over the next few hours, we'll follow this pack through an entire day, from first light to the last howl of the evening. And along the way, you'll discover why the wolf is one of the most misunderstood and most extraordinary animals on Earth. Morning in a wolf pack starts with greetings, muzzle to muzzle, tails wagging. It looks a lot like joy. And scientists believe that's exactly what it is. Every wolf greets every other wolf. It's a ritual, a reaffirmation. We're still here. We're still together. We're still a family. For decades, we got wolves wrong. The idea of a ruthless alpha male fighting to dominate the pack. It was based on captive wolves forced to live with strangers. In the wild, it's completely different. A wild wolf pack is a family, 2 parents and their offspring. The breeding pair leads not through aggression, but through experience. They know where to hunt, where to shelter, when to move. And here's the part most people don't know. Wolves mate for life. This pair has been together since they first found each other as young dispersers, years ago. They chose each other, and they've been inseparable since. The rest of the pack? They're children. Some are yearlings, born last spring, still learning. Others are 2 or 3 years old, nearly full grown. This isn't a hierarchy of dominance. It's a family raising the next generation. The breeding female, the mother, is the true center of this pack. She decides when to move, where to den, and she's fiercely protective of her young. She's smaller than her mate by about 20 pounds. But what she lacks in size, she makes up for in endurance. She can trot at 5 miles per hour for hours without stopping. The yearlings follow close behind. At 14 months old, they're nearly as large as their parents, but they still have a lot to learn. A wolf doesn't fully mature until it's 2 years old. Until then, it watches. It practices. It makes mistakes. And the pack tolerates every one of them. This yearling has been nipping at her older brother's tail for the last quarter mile. He doesn't seem to mind. Play is how wolves learn everything. Boundaries, coordination, trust. Together, they move as one. 6 animals covering ground in a loose formation. The parents up front, the yearlings in the middle, the oldest offspring bringing up the rear. But this pack is about to get bigger. Back at the den site, a hollowed-out space beneath a rocky overhang, something is stirring. Wolf pups are born in spring, 4 to 6 in a litter. And when they arrive, they are completely helpless, blind, deaf, unable to regulate their own body temperature. For the first 2 weeks of life, the pups depend entirely on their mother. She stays in the den almost constantly, nursing, warming, protecting. But by week 3, their eyes open, their ears unfold, and the world rushes in. Within a month, they're tumbling out of the den on wobbly legs, and the real education begins. Wolf pups play constantly, wrestling, chasing, pouncing on sticks. To a casual observer, it looks like chaos. But every game has a purpose. Wrestling teaches them how to pin prey. Chasing builds the endurance they'll need for hunts. And the older siblings, they're the teachers. They play gently. They let the pups win. They're building hunters. But the most important thing a wolf pup learns is how to communicate. And wolves have one of the most complex communication systems of any animal on Earth. It starts with the face. A wolf's facial muscles can produce dozens of distinct expressions. Ears forward means alert. Ears flat means submission. A direct stare is a challenge. A look away is respect. The body tells the rest of the story. A raised tail signals confidence. A tucked tail means deference. The way a wolf holds its head, its shoulders, its spine, every angle carries meaning. And then there are the sounds. Growls, whimpers, barks, yips. Each one distinct. Each one understood instantly by every member of the pack. But the howl is something else entirely. A wolf's howl isn't just loud, it's layered. Each wolf howls at a slightly different pitch. When a pack howls together, they deliberately avoid matching each other. The result? A small pack of 6 can sound like 20. It's not a mistake, it's a strategy. Rival packs hear the chorus and think twice before crossing into this territory. The gray wolf is built for one thing: endurance in the harshest conditions on Earth. Start with the coat. 2 layers. A dense, insulating undercoat traps warm air against the skin. Over that, long guard hairs repel water and snow. A wolf can sleep in -40-degree weather and barely notice. Then there are the paws, oversized, webbed between the toes. They work like snowshoes, spreading the wolf's weight across soft snow. While an elk sinks to its chest, the wolf glides across the surface. The eyes are built for the dark. Behind the retina sits a reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum. It bounces light back through the eye a second time, amplifying every photon. A wolf sees in near total darkness. And the body itself is a machine of endurance. Long legs, a narrow chest. A wolf can sprint at 40 miles per hour in short bursts. But more importantly, it can trot at 5 miles per hour for hours. All day, all night. A single wolf can cover 30 miles in a day without stopping to rest. 30 miles. That's a marathon and then some. Every single day. All that endurance serves a purpose. A wolf pack's territory can span anywhere from 50 to 1,000 square miles, and every inch of it must be patrolled. The pack follows regular routes, ridgelines, riverbanks, game trails. They know these paths the way you know the hallways of your home. Every rock, every bend, every scent. Speaking of scent, a wolf's nose contains roughly 300 million scent receptors. Yours has about 6 million. A wolf can detect prey from nearly 2 miles away. It can tell which animals passed through hours, even days, ago. Every few hundred yards, the breeding pair stops to mark. Urine on a tree, a scrape in the dirt. Each mark is a message. This territory is claimed. This pack is strong. Turn back. And when another pack doesn't turn back, the encounter can be violent. Territorial disputes are the leading cause of death among wild wolves. More than starvation, more than humans, other wolves. Our pack hasn't had a border clash in months, but they stay vigilant. Every patrol, every scent mark, every howl is a line drawn in the snow. By mid-morning, the pack has shifted focus. Greetings are over. The territory is patrolled. Now comes the main event, the hunt. Their target today, elk. A full-grown bull elk weighs 700 pounds and carries antlers that can gore a wolf in a single swipe. It is not easy prey. The wolves don't rush in. They watch. They test. Hunting for a wolf is less about speed and more about patience and intelligence. The pack fans out. They approach the herd from downwind, using the tree line as cover. The elk haven't noticed yet, but they will. Here's what most people don't understand about wolf hunts. Wolves fail far more often than they succeed. Studies show that only about 10 to 15% of hunts end in a kill. The odds are stacked against them every single time. So they don't waste energy on healthy animals. They watch the herd move. They're looking for one thing: weakness, a limp, a lag. An animal that's old, sick, or young enough to separate from the group. And then, the herd breaks. The elk scatter. And in that instant, the wolves make their choice. One elk, a cow, slightly behind the others, becomes the target. The decision is made in seconds. and once it's made, there's no hesitation. The chase begins, but it's not a flat sprint. Wolves hunt in relays. The lead wolf pushes the elk, then falls back as a fresher wolf takes over. They rotate. They share the burden. The elk has no one to trade places with. At full speed, the wolves close the gap. 40 miles per hour. Jaws carrying 400 pounds per square inch of bite force. 42 teeth designed for one purpose. The chase might last minutes. It might last miles. But the wolves have one advantage the elk doesn't. They never have to run alone. When the elk finally slows, legs failing, lungs burning, the pack converges. It's over quickly. Not elegant, but efficient, and absolutely necessary. The kill is made, and now the pack feeds. A wolf can eat up to 20 pounds of meat in a single sitting. That's like eating 80 quarter-pound burgers in one meal. The breeding pair eats first, not because they demanded it, but because the rest of the pack steps back naturally. It's respect, not fear. Then the older offspring move in. Then the yearlings. Everyone eats. No wolf is left out. This isn't competition. It's cooperation. The pack survives because it shares. But not everyone is here. The pups are back at the den, miles away, waiting. And the pack hasn't forgotten them. Wolves carry food back in their stomachs. When they reach the den, the pups swarm them, licking at the adult's muzzle. And the adult responds by regurgitating a meal. It's not pretty, but it works. The pups get a warm, pre-digested meal delivered straight to the den. And every member of the pack, not just the parents, takes part in feeding the young. Aunts, uncles, older siblings. Everyone provides. Not every wolf stays. At some point, usually around 2 or 3 years old, a wolf feels the pull to leave. It's called dispersal, and it's one of the most dangerous decisions a wolf will ever make. Leaving the safety of the pack, leaving the territory it knows, walking into the unknown, alone. A dispersing wolf can travel hundreds of miles. One wolf in the northern Rockies was tracked traveling over 500 miles before it finally settled. Without a pack, a lone wolf can't hunt large prey. It survives on rabbits, mice, scavenged carcasses. It's a hard, lean existence. And many don't survive it. But the ones that do, they're searching for something specific. Another lone wolf. A mate. And when two dispersers find each other in all that emptiness, a new pack begins. That's how our pack started. 2 strangers met in this valley 3 years ago. They chose each other. They claimed a territory. They had their first litter. And now they're 6 strong. The wolves have a companion today, a pair of ravens circling overhead. This is not a coincidence. Wolves and ravens have one of the oldest partnerships in the animal kingdom. Scientists have documented it for decades, but indigenous cultures have known about it for millennia. The ravens follow the wolves. They watch for hunts. And when a kill is made, the ravens move in to claim scraps. In return, the ravens do something remarkable. They scout. Ravens fly ahead, locate prey, and circle above it. The wolves have learned to read the ravens' movements. When the birds start circling, the wolves pay attention. It's not just about food. Wolves and ravens play together. Young wolves have been observed chasing ravens, and ravens have been seen dive-bombing wolves' tails, apparently for fun. 2 apex intelligences, separated by millions of years of evolution, choosing to spend time together. Not out of need, but out of something that looks remarkably like friendship. The wolf you see in winter is not the same animal you'd see in July. The transformation is dramatic. In spring, the thick winter undercoat sheds in clumps. For a few weeks, wolves look ragged, patchy, thin, almost scrawny. It's the least photogenic time to be a wolf. By fall, the coat is growing back, dense, insulating. By December, a wolf is carrying a coat so thick that snow lands on its back and doesn't melt. The insulation is that complete. Summer is for the pups. Long days of play, exploration, and the first tentative hunting lessons. A pup's first attempt to stalk a grasshopper is not exactly dignified. But winter is when wolves truly come alive. The cold thins out the weak. Snow slows their prey. The pack's endurance advantage becomes overwhelming. Winter is wolf season. Our pack has survived 3 winters in this territory. Each one made them stronger, more coordinated, more efficient. By the time the next snow falls, they'll be ready. For thousands of years, humans and wolves shared this landscape. Sometimes as competitors, sometimes as something closer to allies. After all, we domesticated the wolf. Every dog on Earth descends from an animal much like this one. But somewhere along the way, the relationship turned. Wolves became the villain of every story. The big bad wolf, the monster in the forest. And then came the bounties. In the United States, government-sponsored killing programs set out to eliminate the wolf entirely. Poison, traps, aerial gunning. By the 1960s, they had nearly succeeded. By 1970, fewer than 1,000 gray wolves remained in the lower 48 states, down from an estimated 2 million. 99.95% gone. An entire species, reduced to scattered survivors hiding in the most remote corners of Minnesota and Michigan. The rest of the country fell silent. No howls, no packs, no wolves. It took decades to realize what had been lost. Not just an animal, but an entire piece of the ecosystem. A piece that, as it turned out, everything else depended on. In 1995, something extraordinary happened. 14 gray wolves, captured in Canada, were released into Yellowstone National Park. Wolves hadn't walked that land in 70 years. Within months, the wolves began to hunt. Their primary target? Elk. Elk that had been overgrazing the park's river valleys for decades, unchecked by any predator. With wolves present, the elk changed their behavior. They stopped lingering in the open valleys. They moved more. They grazed less in any one spot. And then the trees came back. Willows, aspens, cottonwoods. Vegetation that hadn't grown along Yellowstone's rivers in generations suddenly exploded. The riverbanks stabilized. And here's where the story becomes almost unbelievable. The rivers themselves changed course. Stabilized banks meant less erosion. Channels narrowed. The physical geography of Yellowstone was reshaped by the return of the wolf. Scientists call it a trophic cascade. One species, reintroduced at the top of the food chain, triggering a chain reaction that reshaped an entire ecosystem. The wolves didn't just change Yellowstone, they proved that everything is connected. The sun is getting low now, the light has turned golden, and our pack is heading home. They've covered nearly 15 miles today, patrolled the northern boundary, made a kill, fed the young. Now the same trails that carried them outward this morning carry them back. The forest looks different at this hour, warmer, softer. The sharp edges of morning have melted into something gentler. The pups hear them before they see them. Ears perk up, tails start wagging. And when the first adult appears through the trees, the den erupts. The greeting is the same as this morning, muzzle to muzzle. But this time, it's the pups leading the charge, climbing over the adults, licking their faces. It's chaos, it's joy, it's home. The breeding male settles into his usual spot, a slight rise with a clear view of the clearing. Same spot as yesterday, same spot as last week. Wolves are creatures of habit, and in that habit, there is comfort. As the last light fades, it starts again. The same sound that opened this day. A howl from the ridge, then another from the clearing. Then the pups join in, small, off-key, earnest. And for a few minutes, the entire valley fills with sound. This is the evening chorus. Every pack does it. It tells neighboring packs, "We're still here. We're still strong." And it tells each member of this pack something simpler: you belong. The howls echo off the ridgeline and fade into the trees. Then silence settles back in. The forest exhales. The wolves begin to settle. Not all at once. The yearlings circle and pace. The pups chew on a stick. But gradually, the energy winds down. The breeding female finds her spot near the den entrance. She curls her tail around her nose. Her eyes stay open, watching, then slowly close. The pups are already asleep, piled on top of each other in a warm, tangled heap. They'll sleep like that until dawn. One by one, the others follow. Wolves sleep in short bursts, an hour here, 2 hours there. Always one ear open, always ready. The forest is quiet now. Just the wind moving through the pines, a creek somewhere below the ridge, the occasional call of an owl. The breeding male is the last to lie down. He takes his usual rise. He scans the tree line one more time. Then he lowers his head and rests. The stars come out, thousands of them. No city lights for 100 miles in any direction. Somewhere in the darkness, a pair of amber eyes catches the moonlight. The tapetum lucidum, that reflective layer, glows for just a moment. Then the eyes close again. Somewhere far to the north, another pack is singing. Their voices carry across the valley, and then fade. Just echoes now. The night passes slowly here. No rush, no urgency. Just the ancient rhythm of a forest that has sounded exactly like this for 10,000 years. The breathing slows, deep and steady, a rhythm as old as the forest itself. Tomorrow, they'll do it all again. The howl, the hunt, the homecoming. The same ancient pattern their ancestors followed, long before we were here to watch. But for now, they rest, safe in the territory they built, surrounded by the family they chose. 6 wolves, 1 pack, and a forest full of silence.